Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, hey, at the weekend of fights, not only huge fights, little things. And, I just came across the fight between Juan Carlos Burgos and Andy Cruz, right? And I was just watching a little bit and I said, whoa, man, this Cruz dude looks pretty damn good, right? And then, I had to do some things, got back to it. But I read an article about how boring Andy Cruz was, right? So I went back and watched it. And it's like, yep, boy, let me tell you guys something from the jump. If you hear or read that a boxer's boring, go check him out. Because the odds are they're going to be not only pretty damn good, they're going to be real good to great type stuff, right? Because boring means basically, look, this guy is hitting people and not getting hit back. That's what basically boring is. Now, let me just go through some of the fighters that they call boring, right? Demetrius Andrade is boring, horrible fighter and boring, right? Guillermo Rigondeaux, boring. Beat the hell out of number 3 pound for pound Nonito Donaire and beat him good in the pocket, right? As a smaller fighter, we just gonna call him boring, right? Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and even the great Mayweather, boring. Mayweather Pacquiao was a real boring fight. It wasn't. Somebody got neutralized. You got neutralized on national TV. That was awesome. You can't. Everybody don't get just neutralized. So anyway, the point is, bottom line is, hey, you go watch Andy Cruz, right? Andy Cruz put on a great performance in his debut. And I realize now that's the guy that Eddie Hearn signed from Cuba. Good background, Cuban background, and he handled his business against your boy, right? He handled his business. He did everything that you would want to do, want to see. I couldn't see what lens you would be watching to call this kind of fighter a boring fighter, because he has pretty much everything. My man was resilient, though. My man who was fighting, and Burgess, he was resilient, but he was taking a lot of blows. The punch repertoire from Cruz was just excellent, right? You saw his footwork as well, you saw the angles, but we just don't call them angles when people of color do them. We call it running then, right? But just angles, Lomachenko do it. You see the same kind of angles Lomachenko would do. You see the left hooks, the straight right hands, followed by the going under. Make sure you don't get hit by the left hook. Man, you've seen pretty much everything in the guy's repertoire for his first fight, fighting somebody resilient. So I didn't see boring. I'm probably looking through a different lens. You know what I'm saying? I don't see boring, but that's what if you're looking through the lens of, bam, BTBG, then, hey, that's beat the black guy. So you're looking at it like, well, he's not getting hit back. He's showcasing talent, but he's not getting hit back. And you're disappointed by that, then that could be boring. But if you're watching boxing, you can't look at that fighter and say, well, he's boring, because the other guy's over there doing something. I mean, boring would be if he's not throwing any punches. How could it be boring if he's throwing all kind of punches? Evading punches, right? How could that be boring in the sport of boxing? Well, what are you trying to see? Because then you go to a bar. It's a two different type of things. But anyway, y'all know what time it is. Andy Cruz is far from boring, just like the other ones. Don't get me started with the other ones I mentioned, because I could tell you stories about each one of them. But all those fighters, if it's Andre, if it's Rigo, if it's Shakur, if it's Devin Haney or Floyd Mayweather, you go watch them, right? And you're like, oh, they're great. But others who want them to get their heads knocked off will call their skill set boring. It's really, really simple. Doma Sports Talk worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.